few of the many that are around the world, gadgets as well, and he is our resident tech expert. And we're going to talk about this. It's an interesting issue, this, isn't it? The wider issue. You can talk us through what this particular thing is, but the wider issue is an interesting one, isn't it? Microsoft being sued by a lawyer in Los Angeles. This is a lawyer called Andrew Sokolowski, who bought one of its 32 gigabyte tablets. This is the Surface tablet, as it's called, only to find it didn't have 32 gigabytes of usable memory, as he was expecting when he bought a 32 gigabyte tablet. And we've been speaking, he is a lawyer by trade, but he's not representing himself. This is why it gets a bit confusing. We have been speaking to his lawyer, who's a man called Rhett Francisco.
Mr. Sokolowski's lawsuit against Microsoft is really about protecting consumers as we head into this holiday shopping season throughout the world, really. Microsoft is misrepresenting the storage capacity and capabilities of its Surface tablet, and consumers should know about it. Specifically, Microsoft represents that its 32 gigabyte Surface tablet contains 32 gigabytes of storage capacity, whereas the reality is that it only contains 16 gigabytes of usable storage capacity. That's actually half.
So you would think he would be after money if he is suing Microsoft, but not so.
We are not asking for any damages against Microsoft whatsoever at this time. We have only asked that Microsoft do what is right and correct its unlawful practices by providing consumers with notice of the true characteristics of the Surface tablets, and that Microsoft refund or offer refunds to those who have purchased Surface tablets based on the misrepresentations of the characteristics of the Surface tablets.
Well, we asked Microsoft for their response to this lawsuit, but they say they won't comment on active legal cases. So then, Rory, what does it say on the Microsoft website about, you're going to buy a Surface tablet? What are you expecting to buy?
It says you can have the Microsoft Surface with either 32 gigs or 64 gigs of storage space. In fact, it doesn't even say storage space. It just says the numbers 32 or 64. So it leaves it quite vague for the buyer to interpret what that actually means. The problem is that they're not alone in this. Every single hardware manufacturer in the world, when they sell products, whether it's a desktop PC or an iPad or an iPod or whatever, they quote the total capacity of the hard drive.
Yes.
They don't quote the available storage. And that's what the issue is with the Surface. It has a 32 gig pot of storage, but a lot of that is used up by stuff like the Windows operating system takes up a lot of space. It comes pre-installed with Microsoft Office, and that takes up 8 gigs of space. Then there are the reinstallation tools. So if something goes wrong with the tablet, you have a 5 gig pot set aside to reinstall everything on the tablet should the worst happen. But Microsoft are the worst offenders in this particular respect. Reason being, you in essence have half of the quoted storage figure. You have 16 gig instead of 32, when other tablets like the Apple iPad comes with 16 gigs of storage, but actually has 14.3 gigs of available storage. So you have a very small percentage of storage taken and set aside for essential features like the operating system and pre-installed software. So it's a bit of a liberty that Microsoft are taking, but they have a point themselves, Microsoft, when they say that people should expect not to have the total amount that's advertised.
Yeah, because where do people think that the system, for example, as you're suggesting, or any other stuff that might be on it, is being stored in terms of memory?
Exactly, yeah. The memory isn't just for your personal use. It's there to allow the device to function.
Yeah, well, some people might feel that's fairly straightforward. It's not misleading at all.
It is. I think the guy's issue, or the lawyer and the lawyer representing the lawyer, their issue is that it's such a massive amount. It's 50% of the storage that is taken up by this so-called essential software, and it is kind of a liberty. Microsoft should probably make it clearer on the site at the time of purchase that when you buy the device, you're not going to get anywhere near 32. You're only going to get 16. And they've actually got a section on their website which tells you that the 32 gig version only has around 16 and the 64 gig has 45. But that information's buried deep in the support pages, and people aren't going to look on the support page before they buy the device. They're going to look at support after they buy the device.
So like you say, all of them are at it. Well, not at it, because that implies they're doing something wrong, but all of them are engaged in this same kind of thing. And to be fair, you can easily expand the memory of a device, can't you? Particularly the Surface, I think, actually, over some of their competitors.
Absolutely. With every Surface, you have in the box access to Microsoft's Live Drive cloud storage service. So you can store your data online as well as on the physical device. The only problem is you can't use that online storage to install applications. You also have access to a micro SD card slot, which you can plug in your own storage or plug in a USB storage key to actually enhance the storage, which you can't do on an iPad. So it swings and roundabouts, really. It's disappointing that Microsoft has taken up so much space, and then you've got to kind of work around it yourself, and they should make it clearer. But I really don't think they're going to win. They're going to win this lawsuit at all.
Thomas on Twitter says, well, it's all about the ability to then go and buy extra memory in order to get more storage, and that's how they make money from people like us, says Thomas. He might be onto something. Next, let's go on to this, Rory. This is the Campfire, which charges your mobile phone.